So yeah, the house is wonderful. It's amazing. I think it's great. It's just quiet and peaceful and you know, the backyard is just so private and quiet and he's done a lot of work on it, like landscaping and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's coming along. I've never had any bad experience with the program. It was the best thing we ever did. You don't have to deal with, you know, the banks and the crazy people. At the end of the day, it's more and more and more difficult nowadays for anybody, I don't care who you are, to get a mortgage through a
Mm.
traditional lending service. Um, and so, you know, they may have made all their payments on time and they may have, put the money down and did all this, but because they can't get a traditional loan, then they're like, and that's the thing that always cracks me up is with traditional banking, it's like, oh, you make X amount of dollars a month and you have guaranteed income and you have this and you have that, but no, you can't afford, you can't have a mortgage, but you can afford, a $4,000 a month rent. It just never made sense to me.
I mean, there's a million situations, right? Bad
Hmm.
credit, you lose your job, you don't have 2 years. Like, there's so many reasons you can't get qualified for a house.
Well, and it is, and it's getting harder and harder, especially with the economy and everything else. And, just the general census of the world nowadays, it is getting harder for people. And I think a program like yours is great. I think it's a necessity. I think it's fabulous. I did a bunch of research on you guys before, because you need to do your due diligence. It's like, we sent $1,000 to, wired it to an account and I wanted to make sure who we were wiring it to and stuff like that because there's so much, especially when you're finding it on like Facebook or something like that. There's so much scam stuff out there. So the legitimacy for everything I think is huge. And like I said, you guys were very forthcoming and saying, hey, this is who we are, this is, this, when Raphael was saying send the money, goes Googling, find out who he is, all that stuff. Make sure you know. And I'm like, oh, trust me, I'll know, you know, sort of thing. But I think that's good. And if you can get people that, you know, get that word out for you, so that helps. I mean, that's huge for you guys and for everybody else because people honestly need this.
What it was like process of like obviously wanting to be a homeowner, now being a homeowner, like you probably didn't qualify at the banks. Um,
Yeah.
just can you just give me like an overview of
Yeah.
your perspective on that whole thing?
I worked for United Healthcare for like 16 years, and we were going to buy a house when we moved down here, but we actually were about to buy one, and then I lost my job
Hmm.
after 16 years. So it was kind of
Hmm.
like, oh crap, what do you do now? And I ended up starting my own business. And so that was kind of what hindered us when we first moved down here, is I hadn't had that 2 years with the business yet.
Hmm.
So when you're going through a traditional bank, you've got to have that 2 years of income for the business. And even though we make ample amount of money, it's that they have to have certain criterias or, it's just the hoops you have to jump through. And so, we had talked to a couple of lenders and stuff like that. And, they're like, well, you can, but you have to wait till this because of the business and you have to do this and you have to be able to show this. And it was just kind of a nightmare. So it was kind of like, okay, well, let's see if we can find a program like we had in Idaho
Right.
because you don't have to jump through all those hoops.
Right.
And as long as you have the income to support the house, you know, and you whatever, it usually works better. So yeah, and then I ran across you guys' house and I never I'd probably bug the heck out of you guys because and I know our situation was a little different because we didn't have the whole upfront thing.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate the fact that you guys worked with us on that because that just, we had literally just dropped 15 grand moving to Florida.
Mm.
So it was kind of like, okay, we're stretching it here, as far as liquid cash. So that was huge that you guys actually, ended up doing that. That was kind of like the icing on the cake. So
Do you mind if we take parts of this to show uh potential buyers for other properties? We're trying to
no,
like, okay, cool.
I appreciate you guys and, giving us the opportunity. And like I said, we love it. We absolutely think it's fabulous.